Good evening, goeienaand. Hallo Rita. Welkom by vanaand se TikTok live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Please, folks, you know how it goes. Friday, Wednesday evenings, TikTok live questions in regards to financial planning. Ask me and let me see what I can answer, what I cannot answer. And I hope you are warm because, yes, see, it is cold here by us. And today just felt like it was one of the coldest days of the year for some or other reason. I think it was this grayish clouds that was hanging in the air all day. Just made it feel very cold. But in any case, we are here and we are ready. And I am happy to see that there's a number of people joining. Some new names, some that I have seen from before, some that I know. Please jump in, ask your questions. Let's see if I can help you. Let's see if I can be of any assistance to you. Colleen and the Dark Knight is with us again. And I see Ants Man has joined in again. Ants Man, how's it down there in the Cape, China? Trippeltjie. Baie oulike naam daarso. Tabs and Sir Mimo. How's it, everybody? Must be honest with you, tonight I would not mind if I could get into bed rather. It is chilly, like I say. Anyways, let's see. Hello, Michael and Poncho and Lani, and so a few people come and go. No questions yet. Yes, tonight everybody is just going to stare at me. And I'm going to have to think of something to tell you. What can I tell you? Not much. Except don't retire too early. Save, invest. Don't retire too early. Don't go without too little money. Oh yeah, and go and watch Wimbledon. I see Wimbledon is on again. So lots of fun there. Okay, bees. You say, good evening. Can you please estimate how much monthly income I can get on 2.5 million rand pension? Okay, bees. You know what? I can't do that. I wish I could. I could give you the guidelines, so to speak, as to what you can expect as an income. But I can't give you a definite income. Because there's so many variables that has to be taken into consideration. When I say there's so many variables that needs to be taken into consideration, I need to do a planning session with you to see what income you need. That's the most important thing. Because the income that you can take is anything from 2.5% of your total capital amount to 17.5% of your total capital amount. So it's quite a wide scope of income that can be taken. That's on a living annuity. That's what a living annuity can offer you. And that income, if you take 2.5%, your capital will most probably last forever. If you take 17.5%, your capital will be exhausted in 9 to 11 years. Then you get guaranteed type of incomes, depending on the type of income depending on the type of guarantee, depending on the type of guarantee that you take, that income will also be bigger or smaller. It will depend on whether it's just you in the income plan or whether you've got a spouse in the income plan, so it's a joint and survivorship. It will depend on whether the income must stay the same or whether it must increase over years. So there's so many variables that needs to be taken into consideration. I can't just give you one answer on 2.5 million is going to give you X amount of income. There is literally thousands of combinations of possible income drawdowns that you can have. So the question that should be asked is, how much income do I need? And then this is the amount of capital that I have. Can I accomplish the income that I need with the capital that I have? That's the actual question that you need to ask. Okay, so I'm sorry, can't give you an answer, not even going to try and estimate anything. You must go and do some planning, ask for financial planning, get a financial planner to do some planning. And then once you've done that, you'll get a better idea of the type of plan you must take and what the income will be. Diffie, hi, is dit waar dat jou pensioen meer groei in die laaste 5 jaar? Myne is 'n SUF. Ek is 58. Diffie, yes. Diffie, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch back to English because a lot of people are English speaking and that's the generally accepted one. So is it true that your pension grows most in the last 5 years? And the answer is yes. And it doesn't matter whether you've got a investment term of 10 years, 15 years, 50 years. Yes, your growth will be the best and the biggest in the last 5 years. And it's quite easy to explain. Remember that growth is compound growth. So it is growth on growth. So if you've got 10,000 Rand in investment and you invest it for a year and you get 10% return, you get 1,000 Rand return on that investment. But next year, you have that same 10,000 Rand there plus the 1,000 Rand growth, and now you get growth again, but now you get 1,100 Rand because you get that 1,000 Rand growth on the 10,000 and you get an extra 100 Rand on that 1,000 Rand growth from the previous year. So when you get to the last 5 years, now it's a question of growth on growth on growth on growth. Some investments where people has been investing for a long time, I personally have seen where the person has been investing for 20, 30 years. And now the growth that they are earning on a monthly basis is 2, 3, 4 times more than the actual premium that they are contributing to the investment. And that's because of that growth on growth compound effect. So yes, if you are 58 years old, your pension or investment would have grown best for the last 5 years from 53 to 58. And as you go forward, you will see that it will still keep on doing it. As a matter of fact, you can see it on a year-to-year basis. Yes, there are instances where it's not going to happen. When we do have a dip in the market, that always happens. But if you take it over that 3 to 5 year period, you go and measure it, you will see that exponential growth that you get in the long run with your investments. Okay, Diffie, I hope that explains it for you. Sorry, folks. Now I start doing the jump around to find what I need to see. Diffie says, my funds is now just over 4 million. Yes, Diffie, you're going to see some fantastic growth there. Okay. Okay, so I do not have my red phone with me. My love, can you get my red phone for me, please? Okay, so on 2.45 million, so let's think quickly. On 1 million, 4% is 40,000, so it will be 100,000 Rand that you will get as an annual income on a living annuity of 2.5 million if you draw down 4%. 100,000 Rand per year, take 100,000, divide that by 12, and if I'm not mistaken, it's about 8,200, 8,300 Rand. So that's what you can expect as an income, okay? Charlene, good evening to you. If one takes a Provident Fund now, does it affect, thank you very much. If one takes a Provident Fund now, does it affect the 500,000 tax-free portion at retirement? So Charlene, I take it, you're the Charlene that I know, and therefore you are not at retirement yet. So if we're talking about that, doesn't matter if you've got a pension fund, Provident Fund or retirement annuity, whether you started it 20 years ago, whether you're starting with it now, when you get to retirement, all three of those products, pension, provident, and pension, provident, and retirement annuity, all three of those qualify for 550,000 tax-free on the 1/3. But when I say it qualifies, all three products qualify for that 550,000 tax-free, but not independently. So you get a total of 550,000 tax-free on whatever you withdraw. So it doesn't matter whether it's your provident fund, your pension fund, or your retirement annuity, or a combination of the three. When you get to retirement and you exercise your 1/3, 2/3 option, then you will get that 550,000 Rand tax-free portion. So it doesn't matter when you take the provident fund, They just look at it at retirement, and at that point they say, okay, let's look at all your products and we give it to you. So what could happen is if you take a provident fund now and you get to retirement and you've got a pension fund where you're going to take 300,000 Rand as your 1/3 or part of your 1/3, that 300,000 Rand will be tax free. And then later on you withdraw from your provident fund and now you want to take another 300,000 Rand. So 250,000 will then be tax free, and the next 50,000, because now you're 300,000 from the original pension fund plus the 250 from the provident fund, that makes up your 550,000 tax free. And then the rest, that other 50,000, then gets taxed at 18%. So I hope that answers it for you, Charlene. It depends not on when it's taken, but at retirement, what your situation then is in terms of your options that you exercise. Nylene, evening Kunai, hope you're nice and warm. It's freezing in KZN. Nylene, it is kind of freezing here in Gauteng as well. In Krugersdorp it is freezing. As a matter of fact, you will see that I'm sitting in a different spot tonight. I'm sitting in my bedroom in front of the heater on the one side, the TV with the Wimbledon on the other side. And it is substantially warmer than sitting in the living room tonight. The gatekeeper, pay your home and cars off and you can retire comfortably on 7 million. Mr. or Mrs. the gatekeeper, the intention would always be to pay off your home and cars before you get to retirement. Absolutely. There should not be a question about it. Can you retire comfortably on 7 million? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. And the reason why I say maybe you can and maybe you can't, some people retire very comfortably on 10,000 Rand or 6,000 Rand per month. And they are happy as can be with regards to that income. Then there's other people that have learned to live on a much higher level and they are going to battle to retire with 100,000 Rand a month. So it very much depends on what your need is, whether 7 million Rand will be enough or won't be enough. And this I can tell you, I spoke to a gentleman today. He's got a total of 10 million Rand in pension fund monies that we are going to help him to retire with. And he is going to retire quite comfortably with regards to that 10 million Rand. And then there was people that I saw last night that has 24 million Rand, and we are wondering how we're going to cut and paste their exercise to make it work for them, because it's not enough capital to provide them with income. So your income at retirement is pretty much a question of perspective, and what your needs are in retirement. Desi, buy a house, cash or bond, pros and cons. So Daisy, my personal opinion is when it comes to buy a house, if I can buy it cash, I'll buy it cash rather than bonds. The pros is I won't pay interest. I won't pay the bond interest rate. The second pro is that the house becomes mine immediately. If it's bonded, it's actually the property of the bank until it's paid off. Once it's paid off and the title deed is in my name, I can operate with it and I can use it as an asset for various things, which is much easier than when it is still bonded, because then there's certain liabilities against it. Cons, in terms of buying it cash, I don't see any cons. Cons in terms of buying it by a bond, precisely what I said now. The interest that you're paying, it's not really your property until it's paid off. So that's my opinion about it. And I know that not everybody shares this opinion. I've been I've been taken out on a number of occasions by people that are into property and that thinks and believe property is the be all and end all. And property is great. I think people can create great businesses, great property portfolios for themselves. But I've just had sad stories in my life with regards to property and clients that wanted to get into property. So yeah, that's my opinion. Buy it cash, Daisy. The gatekeeper. Oh, and the last 5 years max it out to 28%. Oh, you're talking there about your income that you're taking off that 7 million gatekeeper last 5 years, 17.5% is the max. Here's the problem, gatekeeper. How do you know when your last 5 years are going to start? How do you know when your last 5 years are going to start? In terms of income. Do you have a crystal ball that tells you at the age of 60 you're going to pass away at 65, so now you must take the maximum of 17.5%? If you are talking about 27.5% contribution last 5 years before retirement, yes, I agree. If anybody can do that, kudos to them. But yeah, a gatekeeper, the thing is, and that's where financial advice is so crucial. None of us has a crystal ball. Therefore, we have to plan for a lot of different eventualities. If I had a crystal ball and I knew when people were going to pass away, specifically when they're going to pass away, or which fund is going to be doing the best for this specific year, I would have had my own island because I would be so rich. Anyways, there we go, gatekeeper. Jock. Wat het mens nodig om in die veld te werk? Postgraduate diploma in financial planning. Wow, Jock, then Jock, you must come and talk to me. I need advisors. I need advisors quite desperately, as a matter of fact. So what you need is 120 credits on NQF level 5, okay, to become a financial advisor. Now, I call it NQF level 5, 120 credits, because there are a number of qualifications that actually qualifies based on that. So if you've got a postgraduate diploma in financial planning, you most probably are one of those people. There are hundreds of different diplomas, certifications and degrees that falls under that 120 credits in the NQF level 5. And then the other thing that you need is you need your RE5 qualification or exam. And the RE5 exam is basically our industry legislator, the FSCA. It is their laws that you write an exam on, which is called the RE5. So if you pass that, if you've got those two things, then you can operate in the industry. And basically you operate under somebody like myself then for 2 years, where you are supervised. You could go and you could give advice, and I just need to hold you under my wing. And that's how you get into the industry. That's how you can operate. So yes, Jock, in my profile is my WhatsApp number. Give me a call, come and have a chat. I need advisors, mate. Diffie, oopsie, there goes Diffie. Sorry, Diffie, just give me a second here. Let me get back to. Oh, Diffie just says, thank you very much. Where are you situated? Diffie, I am in Krugersdorp, Gauteng. I've got advisors in Potchefstroom. I've got advisors on the East Rand, and I've got advisors in Cape Town. So I've got a few across South Africa, but I personally am in Gauteng, Krugersdorp. Let's see. Kurt Smit says, as jy geretrench word. Okay, Kurt. As jy geretrench word en jou pensioen is nie 500,000 nie, hoeveel tax betaal jy? So Kurt, as jy geretrench word, okay, en jy besluit jy wil jou pensioen vat. If you get retrenched and you decide you want to take your pension fund monies, that is the one exception where the law says, okay, you can actually take your money at retrenchment as if you are retiring, and we will tax you as if you are retiring. It's as if the law is saying, it's not your fault, so we're not going to penalize you by taxing you now on withdrawal. So if you've got 500,000 Rand at that stage, you can literally take 130 cash, and that will be less than 500,000. You will get that tax free, and the difference would be taxed at normal income tax rates, depending on the income that you're going to take. So Kurt, if you do get retrenched, that is how you will be taxed. Although, as bad as it is to get retrenched, you should really try not to touch the money and rather put it into a preservation fund. Find a way to get along without it while you find another job, because if you do start using it, to then start catching up, oh man, it's unbelievably difficult. It's unbelievable. So yeah, Kurt, I hope this hasn't happened to you or is happening to you. But if it does, try and put your money in a preservation fund and not use it, okay? You can always go back if you need to. Colin says, what are your thoughts on government bonds? Colin, I'm not a big fan of government bonds. I know that every now and again I've got people that think government bonds are the be-all and end-all. So what happens with the government bond? Government bond is where government says, listen, we want some capital. If you give us this capital to use for investment, whatever the case might be, we will give you a return on your investment at a specific percentage, be that in a year, 3 years, 5 years, okay? So it's basically a guarantee from government that you're going to get the money. That's all fine and dandy. The problem is that on those government bonds, let's say they offer you a 10.5% return on your investment over a 5-year term. At the end of the term, that interest that you get on that government bond is taxable, similar to money being invested in the bank, in a savings account in the bank. It's taxable. So on your 10.5%, depending on what your tax rate is, once you get your money out, you end up getting 9.5%, 8%, 7.5% because of the tax implication. And for that reason, I am not a big government bond fan. It's a safe investment. It's a low return investment. It's not an investment that I like. I would rather put somebody into an income plan, because they give basically the same but mostly better returns, or a medium risk fund where you don't have the guarantees, but where your potential return is 9.5% without tax. So yeah, government bonds, I'm not a big fan, mate. Okay, how's it, Rowan? Gatekeeper, it's only a pleasure. I hope I am of value to you guys. Oh, last 5 years in pension contributions, Gatekeeper, 100%. Yes. So remember, seeing that you are mentioning this again, you can contribute up to 27.5% towards pension, okay? Doesn't matter whether it's in a pension fund, retirement annuity, or combination of the stuff. You can contribute up to 27.5%, and that is what you will get as a tax rebate, okay? So you can actually contribute more than that. You can contribute 50% of your salary, but you only get the tax rebate on 27.5% of your gross earnings as a contribution. That's the one thing. The second thing is you are limited to contributions of 350,000 Rand per year. 350,000 Rand per year. Any contributions that you make that's more than 27.5% or 350,000, you don't get the tax rebate. It rolls over to retirement, and then when you get to retirement, you can claim it as part of your 1/3. So your 1/3 will then be more than 550,000 Rand, that's tax free. Or if you've now claimed it, let's say you claim R1 million and the full R1 million is tax free because of all the years of rollovers, and there's still money left that you haven't claimed on the rollovers, then the income that you will get will be tax-free for a period of time until you've gotten all your tax benefits. So that's a nice thing. You won't be getting all the tax benefits while you're contributing, but you will always get all the tax benefits, if you know what I mean. Okay. Cookie says, any idea when the early retirement without penalties will come into effect? Cookie, it is already in effect. And yeah, so what you're talking about here is the GPF. Early retirement without penalties is already in effect, but this is the rule. If you want to go on early retirement, you actually have to apply for the no penalty. Your department that you're working for, they are the people that must actually agree to this, and they are the ones that are going to have to pay you that amount of money to compensate for the penalty that you are being penalized, because you are being penalized. Your income that you are receiving for every year that you leave earlier is 4% smaller than what it would have been. So if you leave 5 years earlier, your income is 20% smaller than what it would have been if you went at the right age of 60. So when you apply for early retirement and they agree to this, then they work out the amount of money that they have to pay you to make up that 5 years income shortfall. So in that effect, there's no penalties, because you're actually going to get enough capital to make up the full income for the 5 years. But it doesn't make up the income for the rest of the time, from the age of 60 onwards. So you always going to get penalized. It doesn't matter how you look at it. You always going to get penalized in the long run. Just so that I mention that, Cookie. Sandra Singh, hi. What if I got a bond and I retire? Is it good to pay the bond off or buy another house cash? Sandra Singh, that's really going to depend on yourself, mate. Number one, you have to pay off the bond. I mean, that's absolutely important to do. Pay off your bond, because you don't want to sit with debt at retirement. I suppose you could, but it's not a good idea according to me. Then you have to ask yourself, if you buy another property, you're obviously going to buy it as an investment property and you're going to rent it out. Do you want to sit in your old age and be a rental agent? Do you want to sit with that headache of renting property out, collecting your rent every month, battling with people not paying you? It's all a question of what are you willing to do or not to do. Now, personally, I do not like the idea. Because I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I've got a property that's worth R1 million, I can rent it out for, say, 8,000 Rand a month, which is about 10% per annum, which is a good return on investment. But now I have to basically run it like a business. I have to look after the people. I have to make sure nothing gets broken down. I have to fix stuff. Oh man, that just to me is one big headache. I'd rather put my R1 million with a portfolio manager, let him manage my money and give me that amount every month in any case. So it's absolutely your prerogative as to what you choose. Personally, I won't do it. Okay, let's see. Webster sê, hi Corné, wat is die grootste verskil tussen om te belê by 'n bank soos byvoorbeeld Absa en 'n maatskappy soos Old Mutual? Okay, Webster's asking, what is the biggest difference between investing in a bank such as Absa and a company such as Old Mutual? So let me just clarify one thing. At the bank, you also have financial advisors, and the financial advisor can give you products from insurance companies. So you could actually buy exactly the same product at the bank through a financial advisor there than what you would buy from me as an independent financial advisor outside of the bank. But I think where Webster's question is going is with regards to what's the difference being the biggest differences in terms of a savings account at the bank and an investment with an insurer. And for me, there's two big differences. The first big difference is on a savings account, the bank tells you what your interest rate is going to be. And that interest rate can also fluctuate based on the repo rate. So that's the first thing. And it's a pretty conservative growth rate that you get. If you invest your money with an insurer such as Old Mutual, you can go and choose a portfolio of your choice, and you can go and choose a conservative portfolio, once again, such as a balanced fund or an income fund, which should give you the same type of return that you would be getting in a bank savings account. Or you can go and choose something that's a bit more aggressive, like an equity fund or global equity fund, where you would be looking at getting a substantially bigger return on your investment. So that's the first difference, is you can choose portfolios which will and should give you a better return over time in a company rather than what you would get in a savings account. The second thing is with regards to the tax implications. The savings in the bank, you earn interest and you pay tax on a yearly basis on that interest. So you get 23,800 Rand tax-free growth or tax 23,800 rand interest, that's tax free, and then the difference is taxable. Sorry, now I get it. Where if you make use of the investment with the insurance company, all taxes is taken care of in the portfolio. Whenever you get your money out, it's after tax, it's tax free. So those are the two big things. There is absolutely a place for bank investments. My honest opinion is bank investments is ideal for emergency funds. It's ideal for people that are very conservative and does not mind the tax implications. Great for them. Every other person, I think, should be invested in a company such as Old Mutual. Okay. Oh, there we go again. Let's see. Okay. If I took an RA with a broker with Old Mutual 15 years ago, after 2 months he disappeared, should the RA still be paying commission to the broker? Well, I would say no, it should not be paying commission to the broker. But, you know, that once again comes down to legislation. Old Mutual does not know that this broker has disappeared. If Old Mutual, or if the broker has died, passed away, resigned, doesn't have a code anymore, that RA is being taken over by Old Mutual. They become your financial advisors in effect, and therefore they can now claim the commission on it. If the broker has disappeared, you as the client has a responsibility to find yourself a new financial advisor, or to contact the insurer and say, listen, yeah, I don't have a financial advisor, I don't want one anymore, please cancel the commission so that I can earn that as growth. So I don't think it's fair, but I think it is virtually impossible to police and make sure that every person is treated fairly in terms of the commission that was being earned and is still being earned. And like I always say, you as the client, there's a certain responsibility on you as well to look after your finances and things like this, to either do or find out what you must do. Okay, so I hope you get it sorted out. Can we buy NVIDIA shares here? So you can buy NVIDIA shares via bank apps. You could make use of a stockbroker. Independent advisors such as myself, yes, I can help you to buy NVIDIA shares. Only thing is you're going to have to have at least 5 million rand before I'm going to help you with regards to that. But yes, it's possible to do it. There's many different platforms depending on how much you want to spend and how much guidance or advice you would like with regards to that. Okay, let's see who's next. Yeah, I'm Mokhotladi. Mokhladi says, answer me. Sorry, Mokhladi, if I missed your question, I do apologize, but all I see is hi. So, hi back, Mokhladi. BBM says, how much is your consultation fees, Zoom or call? So BBM, I ask a consultation fee of 1,500 Rand for the first consultation. In that consultation, I do a fact-finding mission with you. And then once we're finished, I then go away. I go do a planning session. I come back to you. I do a follow-up meeting with you where I give you my feedback, recommendations, advice, and so on. And that is basically what your 1,500 Rand buys. After that, anything else we do into the future, I will discuss any fees or commission with you, be that for further advice, be that for products that I implement. But yeah, that's it. 1,500 Rand. My advisors, they ask a 500 Rand consultation fee. So once again, you're welcome to contact me on the WhatsApp number in my profile, and you can either consult with myself or with one of my advisors. Virtual V, it seems that the only role of government is to make up taxes for... It seems the only role of government is to make up taxes for population to pay. Virtual V. I'm not even going to try and argue. But yeah, I suppose that's part of the thing. And yeah, until we get our economy to really grow and and start flourishing, whereby we have a dynamic, good, strong economy. Until then, that is unfortunately what's going to happen. Government's going to have to find a way to get money, and the only way is to get taxes. T-Man, I have a fixed deposit at the bank. The tax man is dealing with me. It's painful every year. Oh, folks, thank you very much. Tonight, you guys are giving me a laugh here and there. Normally, it's all so serious. T-Man, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So, T-Man, get yourself out of that problem. That's all I can say to you. Get yourself out of that problem. Go and find out what your penalties will be for withdrawing the money out of the fixed deposit. Look at alternative options for you. And if it's worth it to pay the penalty, then go and put it into a different investment. If it's not worth it, well, wait until the fixed deposit comes up for renewal. Don't renew it. Get alternative options with regards to investment and make use of a different investment. Don't punish yourself by leaving the money in the bank where the taxman keeps on dealing with you. Mrs. Ayana Ogonyo, which age? I'm not sure which age. What are you talking about here? I can't see any other message from you. So please elaborate what you mean with which age. MB, I have a tax-free savings. I have a tax-free saving, 550k. Okay, MB. Oh, here we go. I have 550,000 tax-free investment. Will I also get a tax-free benefit on my pension once I retire? Yes. MB, yes. I don't know why I get this question so often these days. Your pension fund money, the retirement annuities, pension and provident funds, where you get 550,000 tax-free at retirement. This has been like this forever and a day. Okay? They're not taking that away. As a matter of fact, it was 500,000. It's been increased a few years ago to 550,000. Tax-free plans were only introduced a few years ago. Tax-free plans are not that old. And this is additional to pension products. So the two has nothing to do with each other. The one does not influence the other one. So your tax-free plan that you've got and the money that you are investing on your tax-free plan, excuse me, the money that you're investing in a tax-free plan and all the growth that you're getting there, which is tax-free, will remain tax-free forever and ever and ever. As long as it's in investment, it remains tax-free. The investment as well as the growth. On the other side, your pension fund monies, the 550,000 Rand is a stock standard across the board offered to everybody, irrespective of your tax-free plans. So yes, this is why I always say, if you plan properly, I know we are taxed substantially in South Africa, but if you plan properly with your investments, you can make use of the rules that are out there to actually get one over on the tax man. Yuki, hi there, Yuki. Let's see, Webster says, thank you, pleasure. Tabsa says, would you recommend buying a car cash? Yes, once again, Tabsa. Buying a car cash, to me, is pretty much the same as buying a house cash. You don't have to pay the finance cost. The car is yours with immediate effect. So fantastic. If you have a business and you ask the same question, then it might be a different answer. Because if you have a business and you buy a car, you can write off the repayments and interest. I don't know, but I know there's stuff that you can write off on the car. So it makes sense for a business owner maybe to go buy a vehicle and lease it. But for you as an individual, doesn't make sense because of the interest that you're going to pay on that lease agreement. And it is unfortunately so that the interest rates are substantial. And you are not going to find many investments that is going to give you a growth rate that is equal to or higher than the interest rate that you're going to pay on a lease agreement. So just by virtue of that, it makes more sense to buy a car cash. Now, on the other hand, always on the other hand, problem with that is a car loses its value very quickly. Okay, so I think the more important question is to ask yourself, listen, am I going to buy a new car or am I going to buy a second-hand car? And I'm not a big fan of buying new cars because of how quickly they lose value, but I am a big fan of buying a second-hand car which is of good value and which does not lose its value so quick anymore. So, Tabza, it's one of those that it's not as clear-cut for me as the house. So I'm almost scared to say, yes, it's the best thing in the world to buy a car cash. Because there are more reasons to buy a car by leasing it than what there are to buy a house by bonding it. I hope I'm not confusing you. I hope I'm making sense with what I'm trying to say here. Let's see. Rowan, they keep on saying I must invite you, brother. I just don't know how that's going to work. Okay, Dylan, where should I save my money? I save 2.5 a month over and above my Provident Fund. So, Dylan, it seems like what you're saying is that you are saving 2,500 Rand per month over and above your Provident Fund, which is very good. So first of all, Dylan, I would advise you to keep on putting away your 2,500 Rand a month until you've built up an emergency fund, which is equal to 3 to 6 months of your income. So let's say you're earning 10,000 Rand a month, save 2,500 Rand a month in the bank until you've got 30 to 60,000 Rand in the bank. Because that's 3 to 6 times your 10,000 Rand income. Once you've done that, then the best thing would be to say, okay, now I still want to do these monthly contributions. Now I have to go and talk to somebody to calculate what is going to be best for me. A unit trust investment, an endowment, retirement annuity, or a combination of these three. Because each of those have different pros and cons that could be of your benefit or could not be. Whether it's going to be of your benefit or not is going to depend on what you want to achieve with those funds into the future. So if you say, listen, I want to save the 2,500 Rand per month, never touch it, only want to touch it when I go into retirement, it's basically going to be extra pension fund money for me, then you can look at the retirement annuity, because then you can get that extra 2,500 Rand as a rebate, similar to your Provident Fund contributions. But if you say, no, I want to make use of this money into the future, to buy a house cash, to buy a car cash, to put my kid through university, to go into an international trip, whatever the case might be, then it might be better to say, okay, well, I'm going to put it into the form of an endowment. If your personal tax rate is 30% or higher. Or you can say, no, well, my tax rate is 30% or lower, then the unit trust option would be the better option for you. Then you would rather put the money there. Or I only want to save this for the next 4 years, because then I'm going to use it to do something with it. Once again, then the unit trust might be the better option because of the shorter term. So, Dylan, there's really a variety of options. We haven't even touched here on the option of a tax-free investment. There's a variety of options that you can exercise. The most important thing, according to me, is make sure you get that emergency fund, and once you fill that up, make sure you do keep on investing the money. Just don't stop investing the money. Okay? Hope that helps you, Dylan. Is this? God is love. Would you recommend settling a bond earlier than the 20-year term? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would recommend that you settle a bond earlier than the 20-year term. And the easy way to explain it is the following. If you have a bond interest rate of, say, 11%, for argument's sake, then it means that if you are paying an extra 1,000 Rand per month on your bond, for every 1,000 Rand that you are putting in, you are saving yourself 11% effectively on that 1,000 Rand, because you don't have to pay that 11% interest on that 1,000 Rand. So this is a guaranteed return in your pocket, so to speak, of 11%. And that is why I would say yes, absolutely, if you can settle it earlier than 20 years, because it's a guaranteed return on your investment of 11%, which you cannot get when you are talking about other investments. With other investments, I can show you portfolios where the return is 11 and 12 and 14%, but I cannot guarantee you that it's going to keep on going like that. I cannot guarantee you that the return is going to stay at 11, 12 or 13%. But on a bond, if you pay it off and it's 11%, that you say it's guaranteed 11% interest that you are saving yourself. So absolutely, if you can settle your house earlier, do so. Let's see. Mad Ma X. Mad Ma X, early retirement without penalties, GPF 37 years service. Mad Ma X, I'm not sure if there's a question there, but we actually did discuss this a bit earlier because somebody asked about it. And yes, there is no penalties if your request is approved. And basically the no penalties means that the income that you are not going to get, the shortfall in income that you're not going to get from the age of 55, if that's your early retirement, until 60, they calculate what that is, and that's what they pay out to you. So that means then that you do not end up getting less income in those 5 years that you retire earlier. But in the long run, how the heck is that possible? Anyway, guys, in the long run, you will still. In the long run. Yeah. No. Just a second, folks. Okay. Sorry, somebody just managed to get themselves in here as a co-host, which I don't know how that happened, and I just had to get them out of here. Anyway, guys, but yeah, in the long run, you are still being penalized because you're only getting those 5 years of income being made up. You're not going to get your true income from the age of 60 onwards. So, yeah, remember, you have to apply for it, eh? MB says, I ain't 400k on my bond. Do I pay extra monthly on my bond or invest the money? Do you have a pension fund? Do you have a pension fund? So, MB, how long is it going to take you to pay off this 400,000 Rand? That's the first question. And then if you start paying extra money into this bond, by paying in that extra, how many years are you going to save your bond repayment? Okay, so that's part of the things that we normally go and look at. Do you pay the money into the bond or do you invest the money? Well, it's going to depend on your financial discipline to a large extent. Like I've just explained, yes, I think you must pay your bond off earlier. But here's the question about financial discipline. If you pay more off on your bond, okay, some people get as that access bond facility. So it means they can pay off the bond, but then they still have the bond and the 400,000 is still available. They can go and take it out again. Do you have the financial discipline to actually then close your bond and say that's over and done with, or are you going to take that money out and use it again? So here comes the emotional thing and the self-discipline thing. If you can pay off the bond and close the bond, great, then carry on paying the bond because like I say, you're getting a guaranteed return on whatever the interest rate is. But if you can't do that, then maybe it's better for you to invest the money so it's not that easily accessible. But I stand by what I say. the bond repayment is a guaranteed investment return, that you know what your investment return is going to be. While on an investment through an insurance, you cannot be guaranteed the return, and therefore it depends on what you want. Do you want to get the guaranteed return, or do you want to pursue the higher potential growth? It's not always going to be the same for everybody. So let's move on. Sorry, folks. Flex, you saying I'm still owing 200,000. I suppose that's also on the bond that we're talking about. So, folks, I think the one thing that we have to take into consideration, one thing that we have to understand and realize is everybody is very concerned about what is the best investment I can do. Must I be investing in retirement annuities? Must I be investing in unit trust? Must I be investing in endowments? Because there's plenty of options. Where am I going to get the best potential growth? Because my friend is getting 12% here, this guy's getting 11% here, I also want that. But the tax, there's tax on this investment, there's all kinds of reasons why people want to have the best investment. They don't want to pay tax, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, all these things taken into consideration. Everything taken into consideration. The most important thing is that you must save money, you must invest money. Because people argue so much about all these external factors that has an influence on the investments, and then they don't save. Now, where are you going to be the best of? Let's say me and you do investments, or we have to decide investments, and we both have 1,000 Rand per month, okay? And you do not save your 1,000 Rand a month because you are worried about the tax and you want the best possible return, but you don't know which one that is going to be, and. So you don't invest your money. And I take my 1,000 Rand and I go and invest it in absolutely the worst investment with the worst possible tax, with the worst possible returns. But at the end of the year, I've got 12,200 Rand in my investment. Who's better off, me or you? The person that has actually invested some money is always better off. So that's why I'm saying, just invest. Make sure that you are investing money. You can always speak to financial advisors, get advice from the internet, Google, ChatGPT, the whole thing. There is literally hundreds of places these days to get information. But start investing, because you can change your investment tomorrow. If you started with a unit trust 3 months ago and then you decide this is not actually where I should be, you can change it to endowment. If you started with an investment and you put your money into a balance fund, but now you realize that you want to be in an equity fund, you can change it. Fixed deposits is just about the only thing which is so fixed that you can't change it until the end of the term. So the important thing is that I'm trying to get across is just go and start investing money. Stop worrying too much about where you're going to get the best return, which tax is going to hurt you the most. Just start investing. And I promise you, you're going to be better off than most people. Okay. Flex says, that's correct. ABSA interest goes up all the time. Yes, Flex, it's very possible that that happens because you are most probably on a flexible bond rate. Okay. I have not seen bond interest rates changing much in the last 12 months. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen the repo rate change very much. So the last 12 months or so, there shouldn't have been too much change, if anything downwards, but not upwards. Okay. Ladies and gents, this cannot be. It is 4 minutes to 7 on a Wednesday night, and I have answered everybody's questions. This is amazing. I see no more questions. And we still have a full house. More than a full house. when I say a full house, I see there's 84 people on the call at the moment, so that is absolutely fantastic. But yes, ladies and gents, I've answered everything, and it doesn't seem as if there's anything else. So before we go, and seeing that there's no other question at the moment, I've just add a little bit of an explanation as to why you must just at least invest. Okay, and why it's so important. If you just start investing and you learn the discipline of investing, you can at a later stage go and seek advice to structure your investments to the best possible scenario for yourself. From a growth point of view, from a tax point of view, you can go and restructure it to the later stage. So do the investment. That's number one. The number two thing and here I've got another man. How the hell do these guys do it? And then and the next thing is a will. The next thing is a will. Please make sure that you have a will. You will not believe how much heartache I've seen in my life with people that did not have a will, and they believed that when they pass away, all their money will go to their son and he will look after their grandson or this, that, the other. And if there's no will, then you are dying intestate, which means that legislation, the law, decides who gets your money. So make sure that you've got a will. Families, already, when there is somebody that passes away, there's always some type of fight in a family. Trust me. In almost 30 years of giving financial advice, I have not handled one estate where there was no fighting or no arguments or somebody getting angry with somebody else. It's just a fact. But at least if you've got a will, then the executor of the estate can tell the beneficiaries, I don't care how you fight. This is how your mum or your dad or your spouse or whoever decided that your estate must be divided up. So make sure that you've got that thing in place. Okay, peeps, it's a pleasure. Wezo, Korea, ek gaan in Afrikaans. Engels gaan nie deur nie, weet nie hoekom nie, beste plek vir tax-free savings. Wezo, okay, in terms of best place for a tax-free investment, I would say you make use of a tax-free investment through one of the insurance houses for the plain and simple reason you can make use of their different funds. So you can use a balanced fund, a medium risk fund, the equity fund, the global equity fund. You can make use of those funds, which can give you substantially higher returns than a bank savings account. So if you want a tax-free investment, look at your old mutuals, Sanlums, Investex, Momentums, etc. Okay. And now that we're supposed to be finished, now you're asking questions. Mad Max says, 200K in Unity and retire in 8 months. Must I take that with tax or leave that for pension, 550,000? Mad Max, I'm not sure what you mean with 200K in Unity. I would think it's unit trust, and if it's in unit trust, just leave it where it is. Especially if you're going to retire in 8 months' time. Just leave it there. That would be my opinion, depending on how much risk it is, and you can start drawing from that a portion as an income. Travolta says, can you assist if you were paying bond after 4 years go retrenched? Can you assist if you were paying bond after 4 years got retrenched? Travolta, I don't know how I can assist you, because basically that's where you have to go and talk to the bank. You have to state your case and see if they are willing to accommodate you, which I know they are normally willing to do, because as much as we don't want to believe it, they don't want to see you lose your house, and they don't want to see themselves not getting the money that they lent to you. They still want to get that money paid back with the interest. So they will try and accommodate you. Ladies and gents, that is 7 o'clock in the evening. Thank you very much for tonight. I had fun. There was a couple of very funny comments, which I loved. I will speak to you again all next week, Wednesday. Have a lekker time. All the best. Bye-bye.